Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Berlant with the Fire Situation Report for September 12th, 2016. Now, temperatures have been much cooler the last day or so. In fact, we're starting to see a decrease in cooler temperatures. But does that necessarily mean the fire risk will go down? We'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, this past week has been a very busy week, and especially a very busy weekend for firefighters. In fact, last week alone, there were 277 new wildfires. Now, while most of those were contained relatively quickly, there have been several fires, including this one. This is video out of Lassen County, where the Willard fire is burning just outside of Susanville. So there are a couple fires, and we'll talk about those, that are still burning today. Already this week, though, there's been a 23% increase in the fire activity that we've experienced. So very busy weekend for firefighters. Now, temperatures are going to go down, and what that means for firefighters could be some good news here. But I'm going to switch over to a statewide fire map where you can see there are 11 large wildfires burning across California, most of which are close to containment, but there are several new fires that did ignite over the weekend. In fact, this is a fire, the Willard fire, that's been burning just west of Susanville here. We'll zoom out here. You can see Susanville itself. The Willard fire has been burning in the Cheney Creek area just below Highway 36. This is Highway 36, connects Susanville and Lake Almanor. This just south of Highway 36. It has been burning towards the town of Susanville itself. Now, there are mandatory evacuations of this fire. I'll show you some video of the fire itself. It did start over yesterday, as we mentioned. 2,500 acres have already burned. Now, the fire is 5% contained, but as I mentioned, there are mandatory evacuations for Cheney Creek as well as the Susan Hills area. So those two areas, there are evacuations. An evacuation shelter has been opened up at the Community of Susanville Church in Susanville itself. So this right now continues to be a major focus for firefighters, as this fire has grown very quickly since it ignited yesterday afternoon. 2,500 acres, as I mentioned, have burned. There are 600 structures threatened by this fire. So this fire is definitely threatening a lot of structures and a lot of homes outside of the Susanville area itself. And as this fire does continue to progress kind of in a southeasterly direction, there are other communities south of Susanville that are threatened by this fire. So again, this is the Willard fire, 2,500 acres, 5% contained. Now, a fire that's been burning that started over the weekend on Sunday as well, just north of this in Modoc County, neighboring Modoc County. This is where the Howard fire has been burning. Now, the Howard fire has been burning just northwest of Canby itself. Here is some information on it. 418 acres have burned. The fire is 50% contained. And the good news here, the forward spread of the Howard fire has been stopped. So that will mean that crews will have a good handle on this fire very quickly here. 418 acres, 50% contained. Now, if I scroll back out here, another fire that ignited over the weekend. In fact, this fire started on Saturday over on the coast. This is in Mendocino County. This is the Rough fire. It's been burning just off of Highway 101 north of Laytonville itself. And we'll zoom in just a little bit further here. You can see here is Laytonville. This fire right off the highway. Highway 101 is where this fire has been burning. 50 acres. It is 85% contained. Here's some photo that was sent in of the Rough fire. Crews are making good progress. Again, 85% contained on this fire, likely to be fully contained very soon here. Another fire that ignited over the weekend. This is near Lake Shasta. This is just north of Lake Shasta. In fact, near Shasta Lake City. This is the Lake fire. 75 acres have burned. The fire is 90% contained, so very close to containment. There were some evacuations in Shasta Lake City over the weekend. Those have since been lifted. Crews are still doing mop-up on this fire. Now we'll go back to our statewide fire map. A couple other fires to mention. Down in Sacramento County, just out northwest of just outside of Rancho Murrieta, is the Boys fire. Started just off of Boys Ranch Road northwest of Rancho Murrieta. This is outside the Sacramento region. This fire burned 40 acres. It is 98% contained, so good progress there on that fire. A couple fires we want to mention to you that CAL FIRE is assisting with the U.S. Forest Service that are very close, moving down into Southern California. Here's the Sobranes fire. Now, the Sobranes fire has continued to be very active on the Los Padres National Forest near the Big Sur area, pushing down into a southerly direction. The U.S. Forest Service has called for some additional evacuations. So far, according to the U.S. Forest Service, the fire has burned 105,705 acres and is 60% contained. While CAL FIRE is providing some ground and aerial resources, this is now being managed by the Los Padres National Forest, as the majority of the fire is on the National Forest land. Another fire burning on the Los Padres down in Santa Barbara County. If we skip down here, that's where the Ray fire. The Ray fire is very close to full containment. In fact, it is going to be expected to be fully contained later this week. No real fire activity or smoke has occurred on this fire, but crews are very close to full containment on the Ray fire. Now, switching over into to the east a little bit here, over on the in Kern County is where we find the Cedar fire. This has been burning northwest of Lake Isabella. Here you can see Lake Isabella. Here's Kernville. The Cedar fire, according to the U.S. Forest Service, has burned 29,322 acres. It is 98% contained, so very close to full containment on the Cedar fire. The other large fire that really burned last week quite actively will go up all the way up to the north part of the state, to Siskiyou County, where we find the Gap fire. This is burning on the Klamath National Forest. So far, this fire has, according to the U.S. Forest Service, burned just under 33,000 acres, and it is 85% contained. You can see this is where a majority of it is. This is just north of Highway 96 itself, northeast of Said Valley. Here you can see Scott Bar right here. Majority of this fire on the Klamath National Forest. CAL FIRE has been providing assistance on this fire as well, but crews are making very good progress on this fire for sure. So a lot of fires, as you can see, but as I mentioned earlier, those cooler temperatures are going to help firefighters. In fact, let's switch over to our weather for the week. You can see here's temperatures for Tuesday, relatively mild. In fact, our temperatures across California are going to be below normal. So that is going to help firefighters in their efforts towards full containment. Tomorrow, look at this, 61 degrees in Tahoe, 76 in Fresno, 74 in San Diego. But we are going to see it heat up a little bit by the end of the week. In fact, Friday's temperatures are warmer, but still not too bad. We're going to see relatively mild temperatures for this week. Now, there are some possible thunderstorms along the Sierra Nevada that could increase the fire risk with the potential of lightning, but right now that possibility is likely for the next couple of days, and it could bring some increased precipitation in some of those areas. Now, look at our humidity. Humidity is going to really start decreasing very quickly. Right now, 19 degrees tomorrow in Fresno, 32, I should say today, 19 degrees in Fresno tomorrow. But as we go into Friday, you can see the humidity is really going to start dropping down to the teens for most of California. When the humidity goes down, it doesn't really matter the temperatures necessarily are lower. When the humidity is lower, the risk for wildfires is increased significantly. Let's look at our wind here. You can see there is going to be wind, a lot of wind up in the northeastern portion of California, Modoc County, Lassen County, where the Howard and the Willard fire are burning. That wind is not going to help, and that's where we could see some potential risk in our fire danger along the eastern crest of the Sierra as those winds do pick up. So the wind this week is going to definitely increase our fire risk. Now, we do have a red flag warning that's been issued by the National Weather Service due to high fire danger. Here is a National Weather Service map. You can see this generally is the area, maybe hard to see where the red flag warning is, but we're stretching all the way from the Oregon border down through the northern part of the Sacramento Valley, through Redding, and down into Tehama County as well, and stretching over. You can see this is part of Siskiyou County as well as Shasta County. This region right here, we're going to see very strong north winds. Now, those north winds are going to be felt throughout much of the northern part of the state, and that combined with the humidity will increase our fire risk. So we will have a high fire risk week for many parts of California due to that low humidity that we talked about and due to these strong gusty winds. Again, going back to our wind, you can see anywhere in green, we are going to see winds expected 20 to 30 miles an hour. So much of California will see some strong winds. Now, Barbara asked for a quick recap of the Willard Fire. So if you're just joining us, really quick here, the Willard Fire is right now 2,500 acres. It is 5% contained. There are still evacuations called for in this fire in the Cheney Creek area along Highway 36, as well as for the Susan Hills area. So the Willard Fire, 2,500 acres, 5% contained. Crews are still hitting this fire hard, trying to slow it down. But those winds that I talked about, that has definitely not been working in our favor, and that high fire danger will continue to challenge firefighters on the Willard Fire. Now, Cheryl asked about the Saddle Fire. The Saddle Fire burned over the last week, and that was burning up in Butte County. We'll zoom out here. Now that Saddle Fire is 100% contained as of today. So we'll zoom in, you can see the map. This is just north of Lake Oroville. Here's Lake Oroville itself, town of Oroville right here, Concow here, Paradise here. The Saddle Fire 100% contained at 850 acres. Now another fire that crews have contained is down in San Bernardino County. This is where we've been assisting south of Hesperia with the Spring Fire. That fire, 50 acres, it too fully contained. So there are a number of fires where progress has been made, but again, the risk for fires. So coming back to our weather, cooler temperatures. Fall begins next week, but do the cooler temperatures necessarily mean a decrease in our fire risk? And the answer is no. In fact, historically, this is the time of year when California experiences its largest and our most damaging wildfires. The Cedar Fire in 2003, the Oakland Hills Fire in 91, the Valley Fire started this week. In fact, the Saturday was, or yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of the Valley Fire itself, the Witch Fire down in San Diego County. So in 2003, 2007, 91, last year, fire activity really picked up this time of year, and that's again because even though temperatures are down, humidity goes down a little bit, but it's those winds as we transition from summer to fall and then fall into winter, the winds start picking up. The trees, the larger vegetation, they are at their driest, they are at their peak, and so they are ready to burn when a wildfire ignites, and that's why this time of year, this fall season, is when we really need everybody to remember it's simple. One less spark means one less wildfire. So you've got to take extra precaution. Don't let the cooler temperatures fool you. Fire season is still here. For more ways on how you can prevent a wildfire, and of course for more information on all of these fires, visit our website fire.ca.gov. Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. That's the latest on the fire situation here in California. I'm Daniel Berlant. Have a fire-safe week.